Hello students, good morning. So today we are going to begin a new poem number 4, that is A Thing of Beauty. But before I begin that, I just want to remind you that you have a subjective test on Wednesday. Two chapters will be included, Enemy and Should Wizard Hit Mommy. And the test will be of 10 marks, but the questions will be long answer type, 5 marks each, and the word limit will be 80 to 100 words. Now what I want from you is to give me suggestions in a doubt section that what time you require to attempt two questions carrying 5 marks each. Should it be 15 minutes or 20 minutes? Okay, so I'll be waiting for your responses. Now let's begin the poem. First of all, background of the poem. This is written by John Keats. The poem A Thing of Beauty is an extract apart from his long poem, John Keats' long poem Endymion. Endymion is a very long poem, and this poem is just a little part of that. Endymion is a poetic romance. This poem is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, who is a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Latmos, had a vision, a dream, an imagination of Cynthia, the moon goddess. The enchanted, attracted youth decided to seek her out, to search for Cynthia, and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. So this young shepherd moved in every direction to find out Cynthia. He is excited by the beauty of the external world and therefore have wonderful and delightful experiences. So on the way in search of Cynthia, this poem Endymion is written down. The trees, flowers, streams, mountains, sun and moon are all the objects of beauty, and they provide joy forever. Whenever we see this sun, moon, mountains, trees, flowers, streams, or the happy experiences of our life, they always give us happiness, right? So this poem, A Thing of Beauty, is an extract apart from Keats' poem Endymion. In this poem, John Keats depicts, shows, portrays that a thing of beauty is a joy forever, a joy even in the mirth of diseases, in the midst of diseases. When we are sick, we are ill, we are upset, then beautiful things make us happy. You must have heard doctors suggesting some people who are sick to take those patients to some beautiful places, some hilly areas, so that they see natural beauty and their health is improved. The life is full of sufferings and disappointments and diseases, but still this beauty is a joy forever. This joy of beauty comes to a man through his senses. Okay, so beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. So our senses decide what thing is beautiful or what is not. The thing which is beautiful for us cannot be so beautiful for others. So that depends on particular senses of a particular person. And now the detailed study, stanza number 1. This is the underlined part is the line of the poem, and then the below are the explanations. Okay, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. This is the first beautiful line of your beautiful poem. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. It means a thing of beauty provides eternal and everlasting joy. A thing which is beautiful will remain beautiful forever. It leaves an indelible print which cannot be removed on our mind, and we relive the joyful experiences, whenever we think about it, we relive the experience. Suppose you had a very good year in the previous class in your school, so that will be the happy moment for you for the rest of your life. So these beautiful experiences or the beautiful things always give us joy. That is the reason it is said a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Second line is its loveliness increases. Its means beautiful things. The loveliness of the beautiful things go on increasing. Joy multiplies with every beautiful thought. Or the loveliness of a beautiful thing increases manifold each time we experience it. Suppose you have brought a beautiful dress for you to wear, and it is beautiful for the first time. Then you wore it and you felt very happy, it was very comfortable, and your friends also praised for this, and then the beauty increased for you. When some memories get attached to the beautiful things or the beautiful experiences, it becomes lovely. So there are differences between beautiful and lovely. Beautiful outer appearance wise, lovely which is connected to you by heart. When you like the thing, that is loveliness. Suppose your mother has bought a bag for you in the nursery standard, you got that bag of your choice, and when now you see that bag, and you will certainly you will feel that it is beautiful till date. You'll not find, oh, it is ugly, why did I choose it? No, you will find it even more beautiful, or you will find it lovely, because the bonding is there, the attachment is there. So when the beautiful things get more bonding and attachment with us, it becomes lovely. So its loveliness increases. Third line is, it will never pass into nothingness. It refers to beautiful thing, pass into go. Nothingness means a zero, the thing which doesn't matter for us. So the beautiful thing never becomes nothing for us, right? Whether it is a beautiful experience, or it is a beautiful thought, or it is a beautiful thing, it will never become a matterless thing for us. It will always be important for us. The meaning of it is, it will never pass into nothingness. The joy a beautiful thing provides is eternal. We always get joy when we look at it or we think about it. The imprint it leaves on our mind is indelible. Again, we always have the excitement when we think about this. Next is, but will keep a bower quiet for us. So its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower. Bower means shady place. Quiet means silent for us. It will always remain a shady place for us. Okay. Meaning is, the poet feels that a thing of beauty can never fade into nothingness. Or the meaning can be, it will store for us a quiet bower full of sweet dreams. When we are surrounded by beautiful things, or we are with the people who are beautiful to us, whom we love, or you have got the beautiful thing you were aspiring for many days, that day you will be having a very good sleep. Beauty will provide us with peaceful and serene experiences out of the world. So we have very beautiful experiences if we are there with whatever we think the beauty is. That depends on us. What is the definition of beauty? Everybody has their own definitions, right? Next line is, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. These beautiful things are like a sleep full of sweet dreams. Beautiful things are compared with so many things like bower, sleep full of sweet dreams, health. So simile or metaphor. So all the comparisons are without as or like, so it is metaphor. But we'll be discussing all the literary devices used in this poem in the next video. Today just we'll be having a detailed explanation. And a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. If we are surrounded by beautiful things or beautiful people or beautiful experiences, beautiful thoughts, then we'll be having a sleep which is full of sweet dreams. Then our health will be improved and our breathing will be very normal. Some meanings are given. The joy beauty gives us is akin to the joy of a blissful sleep full of pleasant dreams. So akin means similar. The joy given by the beauty is like the joy when we have a blissful sleep. Beautiful sights act like nutrition for relaxing us. It will drive away aggression and restlessness. If we are sitting and looking at the beauty of the nature, then we'll be feeling that our mood, which was upset, now is getting improved. Peaceful and serene experiences will be enjoyed. Stanza number 2, first line. Therefore, on every morrow means tomorrow, every coming day, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Here band word is to be added. Therefore, on every morning or every tomorrow are we wreathing getting tied, a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Life on earth would be a pain without beauty around us. Okay, the poet feels that every morning we create a wreath of flowers which bind us to the earth and make us live our life. So all these beautiful things are like a flower string which is beautifully connecting us to the earth. If there was no beauty on the earth, we would not be wishing to live more. But if we are upset and we get up the next morning and we see the beauty, suppose the beauty in mother you see, or you see the beauty in nature, or you see the beauty in your friends, wherever you feel it, then you will be feeling, oh no, life is not that too bad, I should live more. So this is the beauty which binds us to the earth. Spite of despondence. Despondence is disappointments. Life is a struggle where man often suffers pain and loss of hope. It's obvious, it's natural. The expression refers to the sufferings and hopelessness of a man which he experiences at various junctures of life. At various situations of life, we feel we have disappointments, we have failures of the inhuman dearth of noble natures. Sometimes what happens that we see inhumanity in the people who are called to be noble. Okay, the people who are said to be very nice and noble, but when we spend time with them, we say, oh no, they are so inhuman. There is dearth, lack of humanity even in the noble natured people. Okay, meanings, man is selfish and self-centered by nature. There are few noble people who have risen above their petty differences and show magnanimity and generosity. They show the positive feelings. On this earth there is surely a dearth, a lack or storage of such noble souls. We can see some people who are very good, and we also can see some people who give us disappointments. Sometimes we do remind the gloomy days. Life is a struggle for success. Our path towards success gets abstracted by the deceit, cheating, and selfishness of our colleague. We become sad and gloomy when we have bad experiences in our life. So definitely beautiful things are there, but still, spite of despondence, we have to face despondence, we have to face inhuman dearth of noble natured people, we have to face the gloomy days of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching. Sometimes we feel so much disappointed because we sometimes follow unhealthy and over darkened ways, wrong ways, to make our searching possible. Means to get successful, we do some unhealthy work. Some students who want to score good, they do not, I'm sorry to say, but they do not work hard, and in the exam times there are some cases where students bring the slips to copy. So these are the unhealthy ways. It's for sure that a person who does a wrong work, his inner conscience always pricks him. He always feels bad and guilty. Maybe that he is not ready to accept it in front of his friends, in front of the family members, but from inside he is guilty and he knows that he is wrong. So this also makes us disappointed when we follow unhealthy ways. Yes, in spite of all. See, these are the lines. In spite of despondence, in spite of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching. So these are all the negative things we have to face on earth. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall, P, it is P, pall from our dark spirits. Pall means paleness. There is some shape of beauty which takes away this sadness from our dark spirits. Suppose we are disappointed, right? Or we have not found noble natured people. Our days are not happy, gloomy these are. We have followed some unhealthy ways. But still, in spite of all, we have some type of beauty which can make us happy. Beauty in any shape or form helps in driving away the sadness and despair from our life. Beauty gives joy and happiness to the human heart and takes away sadness and gloom. So this is the half poem for today. This poem is very important and I want you to read this part of the poem and understand it carefully. Okay, have a good day, and